Yeah, you tuned into the right place. Welcome to the rain. Golden Queuing. H2.0. Yeah. You're looking for a diamond, found a treasure in the rough. Tired of all the noise, cause you finally had enough. I'm here to build a movement on a mission for the nation. Dropping gems of knowledge, killing all the hesitation. We fighting for the truth, yeah, we fighting for what's right. Building unity and shining up a brand new light. It's a variety channel, but the vision's crystal clear. Pushing us all forward, conquering the doubt and fear. Welcome to the Queendom, H2.0 on your screen, where the content's real and smart and funny in between. This is more than just a stream, it's a platform for the change. Time to elevate the game and rearrange. If you're ready for a vibe that you can feel and trust, joining in the movement is a definite must. This ain't just another channel talking smack behind the screen. It's a spotlight for the creators, building up a better scene. Spreading radical love, that's the message in the code. Helping everybody carry up a heavy load. From social justice issues to the laughter that we need. Planting seeds of progress, watch them grow from just a seed. This is authentic, this is raw, this is everything you saw. Welcome to the battle that is truly being fought. Ooh, so come with your respect and see the real effect. Cause I protect my own right here on the throne. Don't make me envy. Unleash the dragon. Subscribe, ring that notification bell. Yeah, you don't wanna miss a thing. Welcome to the family. Yeah. Wanna be on top, or just a ghost in the machine. You wanna be on top while they break your soul. Not while they lose control. No, it's a toxic show. It's a toxic show. America's nasty work. 14 girls in the house with no food, just a fridge full of Red Bull to fix the mood. No clocks on the wall, sleep deprived in days, while the producers scout for a mental phase. They took a girl with a gap and told her close it up. Then took another girl and said it's not enough. Fix your teeth, lose the weight, don't you dare complain, while the staff is in the back counting up the game. 16 hours in the cold for a high fashion shine, while the judges sit in heaters and they watch you ride. Signed the paper, gave them rights to your very name, just to be a villain for a moment of the fame. You wanna be on top. Watch the producers murder. Take away the crown. Remember the girl who lost a friend and they made her pose in the grave. Remember the blackfish shoots and the way they made them behave. Panic attacks on the runway, but make it fashion, they say. Interns crying in the bathroom while the cameras play. The tyrant mail is a threat, not a friendly note. They leave you stranded on the water just to keep the show afloat. I was rooting for you, now you was rooting for the views. Exploiting every trauma just to make the nightly news. No pay for the cycle, just a platform and a dream. While the girls are left with nothing but a silent scream. It's nasty work, it's a setup, it's a trap. Put them in a bubble, then we watch them snap. You wanna be on top. Nasty, nasty. The contract never ends. Wanna be on top, it's nasty work. You wanna be on top. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. America's next top model. Sign the NDA. Leave the soul at the door. No clocks in the house. Sticking 8 on the floor. We'll chop off your hair while the camera zoom in. Then call you ungrateful for the thick and the thin. The staff is exhausted. They in terms of stress, but smile with your eyes while we put you to the test. Wanna be on top? Blisters on the feet from the shoes too small. Wait for the edit where we watch you fall. You wanna be on top? America's next top model. You wanna be on top? Why the judges just hurt? You wanna be on top? It's nasty, nasty work. America's next top model. 6-inch heels on a moving floor. Tyra's in the mirror, she's wanting more. Gaslight the girls for a 10-minute clip. Production is messy, let the secret slip. I was rooting for you. And then we show you the gate. Exploiting the trauma just to up the rate. Be on top. Gusty work, gusty work, gusty. Wanna be on top. They wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Every bass drop. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. America's next top model. Sign the NDA. Leave your soul at the door. No clocks in the house. Sleeping 8 on the floor. We'll chop off your hair while the camera zoom in. And call you ungrateful for the thick and the thin. The staff is exhausted. Your interns are stressed. But smile with your eyes while we put you to the test. Wanna be on top. Busters on their feet. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Nasty work. Wanna be on top. 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 Wanna be. Wanna be on top. This nasty word. Wanna be on top. Nasty word, heavy word. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. I wanna be on top. 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 That's nasty work. Wanna be on top, on top. Wanna be on top. It's nasty work. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. It's nasty work. Nasty work. They wanna be on top. 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 It's nasty work. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Nasty, nasty work. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. They wanna be on top. 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 Wanna be on top.
Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Golden. I'm back with another live today, y'all. And we're gonna be getting into a few things. Not very much, so it's not gonna be a very long live, but just a few little updates that I seen that's on, maybe the lighter side of things. I always be talking about the politics and the government over here. So I figured today let's talk about some celebrity stuff. One of these main things that are in the talks right now is a lot of this stuff that has happened and is now coming out about the show, one of my favorite shows back in the day, America's Next Top Model. And we are seeing now that over a period of weeks and months, there are more and more contestants that have come out and done interviews and shared their experience of their time there on the show. And honestly, it is horrific to say the least, if you ask me. But again, everybody's story is their story, and there's always multiple sides to a story. So y'all can grab your coffee and your drinks, your snacks. Come on back. We're going to talk about it. We're going to listen mostly, but we'll also have some, commentary as well. So if y'all have not seen, there is a documentary on Netflix when it comes to America's Next Top Model. I've watched it from beginning to end. It was a very good documentary. It was very surprising to me because I never would have suspected that on that show those girls were dealing with the things that they were dealing with. But we have had a lot of now the contestants and the girls coming out, sitting down with different platforms um, and shows and speaking about their experiences. So there is a show or a segment on Dirty Rotten Scandals. Okay, it's a documentary that is on ET TV, and they did sit down and do an interview with Angela Preston and Sarah Hartshorne, who are both contestants on the show. Now, we want to talk about some of the important things that come from this, aside from it just being, celebrity gossip or entertainment. There's a lot of things we can pull from learning about the experience that these girls went through on this show. So we'll be talking about psychological warfare. We'll also be talking about cult-like conditions and how entertainment industries often use your struggles for profit. But more importantly, we'll be talking about the cycle of hurt people that go on to hurt other people. So we'll get into a little bit of Tyra Banks' history from the current craze over, the modeling industry and being a top model and what it all takes to be that and hold that, throne or that position. There's a lot of things that that young lady, basically teenager, experienced very early on in life and in her career that I think probably could have formulated some of the choices and the decisions that she decided to make when she finally had the reins to pull together her own show and her own experience for models. And so we'll be talking about that. But we also are going to be digging into and talking about this video I came across with Monique. Y'all know comedian Monique, and how she is giving a strong warning to individuals, whoever, when it comes to their weight loss struggles, their weight loss journey, and choosing weight loss drugs or Uggs. You got to say Uggs. So we'll be talking a bit about that. All of this ties in together because I want this live and this conversation to be about self-love. I want it to be about us, looking in the mirror and liking who we see staring back at us. I want it to be about us standing 10 toes down in who we are and how we show up and not allowing anybody to tell us that we're not enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not small enough, we're not, anything enough, that we have a lot of society to try to come out and tell you. So we'll be breaking all of that down. So first, y'all, we will be getting into this exclusive interview with Angela Preston and Sarah Hartshorne. They did recently, like I said, sit down with ET to unpack the Dirty Rotten Scandals documentary. Now, Sarah describes that she went through a lot of psychological warfare. Contestants kept in isolation with no phones. They were sleep deprived and forced emotional breakdowns for the camera and for the content. Now, we also have to look at Angela Preston. She came from Cycle 17. She was disqualified after actually being the winner because of some things that she did in her past. It's a prime example of the industry punishing women for their survival instead of celebrating their growth. But it also is a prime example of how people do not let your past go. Just because you may have done some things that you may not be very proud of in your past when you were young and you didn't know any better, doesn't mean that your future and your current life cannot thrive and be okay. And people go and dig that up because they like to poke that at you. It's a weapon that they use and it almost works every time. We also going to talk about Sarah and how she revealed that the $100,000 contract was often a debt trap. After the agency took their fees for housing and photos, the winners often had nothing left after they left the show. Back to square one, they say. We'll be talking about in a deeper conversation that's in connection to America's Next Top Model, the dangerous reality of modeling agencies. And there may be people out there that know that or have experienced that. But in these agencies, you really aren't seen as a person. You are a mannequin with a heartbeat. They control your hairstyle. They control your weight. And they also control your life. And again, when it comes to the money, a lot of time it's a debt trap. Most agencies use a draw system, meaning They pay for your flights and model housing, but you owe them every cent back. Very similar to the music industry. If you don't book enough work, you stay in debt. It's a predatory system designed to keep young people or models, so to speak, under control. Again, like I said, we also going to take a deeper dive into Tyra Banks and the whole situation around hurt people, hurt people. And I believe this to be true. Sometimes we have to break down the psychology of things. Why did this happen? Why does this person operate this way? So, Tyra's history. To understand Tyra, you have to remember the 90s. Tyra Banks did go through a lot of trauma in the 90s when she was in the industry at the top of her career as being a model, getting into the industry and also being successful within said industry. A lot of times she was told that there can only be one black supermodel, leading for the infamous rivalry between her and Naomi Campbell, if y'all remember that. Tyra also was body shamed and bullied by the industry. She survived that fire, but instead of putting that fire out, it seemed like she just brought it into America's Next Top Model and reignited it all over again. She believed that if she didn't break the girls and show them exactly what was waiting for them outside in the real world, then they would not be properly prepared. This is the survivor's trap. Just because you survived a struggle or abuse doesn't mean that the next person should have to. We have to stop equating suffering with earning your place. Then we'll go on, like I said, to speak about Monique's warning on these weight loss drugs. And we know that's a trending thing right now. Monique recently sent a powerful message to anyone using weight loss drugs like Ozempic, calling it a trick, and says that they are taking away our willpower. There's a lot of dangers when it comes to using these type of medications. We have to talk about that. We got to talk about the facts. These medications come with very high risk: stomach paralysis, gastroparesis, muscle loss, and rebound, where people gain the weight back the moment they stop using the medication. Me and my mom are very transparent. And so I will share with y'all a personal story once we get to that part of the live. It's the same message that really we can apply to the modeling industry. You aren't enough as you are. Buy this or take this so you can be worthy. Monique is pushing us to reclaim our fight and love ourselves through the process, not just at the finish line. And I did also come across a very, I think, positive and uplifting message from Terrence Howard. It's a message of sobriety. It's a new way of thinking. Terrence Howard has been speaking on the oneness of the universe and the sacred geometry. But what he's truly saying is that you are a complete being. We have to learn to unplug from the matrix. He's telling us that the chaos of the industry is a distraction. We've been conditioned to look for answers from experts, judges, but the power is actually within our own frequency. We have the inner authority over ourselves. When you realize your value is mathematical and universal and not based on a TV show or a scale, you become unshakable. So let's go ahead. I want y'all to listen to a little bit of this for yourself. We were doing audio only. And so I want y'all to hear some of these girls' testimonies and their stories as far as how, their experience was on America's Next Top Model. And so let's go ahead and listen to this first audio. I have two for America's Next Top Model. I'm going to let y'all just listen to audio only. Monique has her message that she will be sending and speaking about Ozempic, these weight loss drugs or, medications. And then we will lead and end off with Terrence Howard's positive, uplifting message about us being in control of ourselves and being enough just as we are. So let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Per usual, I'll meet y'all in the chat. I'm going to catch up with the comments. Let's get into this video.
We're going to keep it civilized and we're going to stay focused because each of you had such a unique experience.
Anytime America's Next Top Model is brought up, personally for me, it brings a smile to my face.
I won Cycle 17.
And what happened after that?
They took everything from me. My title, the winnings, they decrowned me.
Angelea, Preston, Kenya Hill, Lisa D'Amato, and Tiffany Richardson. They're four of the most well-known women to compete to become America's Next Top Model.
Hello, lady!
More than 300 contestants in all across 24 seasons. The hit reality show helped define the early era of reality TV before ending in 2018.
We've grown up loving and watching one of our favorite shows of all time.
But viewers are still not done with it. Ever since the start of the pandemic, when people started binging old TV shows, Top Model has been having another moment in the spotlight. Some viewers are turning to TikTok, YouTube, and podcasts, sharing how some of those throwback shows suddenly feel different.
I started rewatching America's Next Top Model Season 1, and I could not believe the things that came out of those people's mouths.
America's Next Top Model has become a poster child for how quickly society's views can shift.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Why America's Next Top Model is the most toxic show of its decade.
The most unattractive thing in the world to me is a quitter.
And how what's viewed as appropriate can completely change.
This show is literally why I experienced eating disorders growing up.
Child, the people on social media was talking real heavy about Top Model, okay? And they were letting Tyra have it.
Like a scene from Cycle 4 in 2005 when a modeling photo shoot was race swapping.
Now there's a twist. We are actually going to switch your ethnicities. Kenya, Korean. Noelle, we're making you into a traditionally African woman with a head wrap and everything.
What in the cultural appropriation?
Dangerous runways and challenges and photo shoots and stuff like that.
In hindsight, it was incredibly problematic, but at the time was just a kooky challenge from Tyra Banks.
It really is incredible how different things were 20 years ago.
I didn't think too much into it.
I didn't think anything about it either.
Now I'm like...
With Top Model finding a new audience, ABC News assembled a group of 4 former contestants to discuss the show's legacy and cultural impact.
Tiffany.
All right, y'all. So on this live, we'll be making commentary as we go because I want this to be a very back and forth conversation. And I want to ask questions. And I also want to give some of my thoughts and opinions. And so, like I told y'all before, I watched all of America's Next Top Model. I wanted to be a model. I went to some agencies before when I was younger and stuff like that. So, I didn't make it, I didn't see it through. I had to take a job. But anyway, I'm asking this question for this particular statement and this particular episode that was aired. So this episode, and we heard some from Jay Manuel, which I loved his commentary on that. And I did do a previous video where we did hear some from him, but that one is no longer up. But anyway, so if y'all have watched yourselves and heard some of the commentary from Jay Manuel, he didn't want to come that day. He didn't want to do it. He knew it wasn't right or it would be, distasteful or taken the wrong way. My question is, if we keep things fair, right, and we look at it from both sides of the coin, do you feel as though, like, when production and Tyra did that photo shoot or came up with that idea that they would have the girls kind of switch, like, races or nationalities and things of that nature, do you think that they meant any type of, like, offensiveness when they came up with that idea? Or do you think that maybe in their minds or in her mind that it was more so like in a model way and in a fashion way, let's see if we can show the world how, we can put individuals in a position where they get a chance to walk in each other's shoes and see, like, those experiences. Like, maybe that's what that artwork was supposed to represent. Now, could it, or was it fully to be understood in that way? I would say no, because it takes more than just posing behind a camera to take a walk in someone else's shoes as far as like race swapping or things of that nature. The beauty of it, I can see, right? Because now you can have, let's just say, you can have, I don't know, like a Irish white woman that now gets painted up to be, an African woman with braids and brown skin and, certain kind of garb or outfit. And that may be something that she never would have looked in the mirror and seen herself as. But maybe if she looked in her mirror while she was dressed up that way and seeing herself as a representation of that, that race and that culture, and see the beauty in it, maybe that was the teaching lesson that maybe she had in mind. Like, if you can put yourself in the skin, in the imagery of another, and look in the mirror and see beauty and feel beautiful, then maybe when we go out in the world and we see others that actually really are that race and are that skin tone and wear that type of hairstyle and wear that type of garb, you see them as beautiful as well and not less than. Is that me being too positive, y'all, and trying to, keep the positivity flowing here? Y'all let me know what y'all think, because, I just try to be fair. I think that sometimes, because I've gone out to do things that I thought was going to be a positive message or, a positive choice, I meant well in what I was doing. But a lot of times it didn't hit that way. It didn't come off that way, And so I'm trying to give benefit of the doubt that maybe that wasn't something that was wrapped around like hatefulness or racism or spitefulness. Now, if the girls were uncomfortable, we have to take that into account. Like, if the staff, everybody on set and the girls was uncomfortable with that, and the audience, the watchers, the viewers were uncomfortable, then you got to take that on the chin. You know what I mean? Like, you meant well in the decision or, this idea that you had, but it didn't come off well. You got to be able to admit that and take that accountability. But I'm just asking, do y'all think that maybe that's the reason why they tried to do that type of artistic expression when it came to that episode? But let's keep going. I don't want to talk too much. I just want to strike some questions while we're doing this live, because I just want to know what y'all think as well.
We're not worthy.
Rooting for you. You must hear that all the time.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
America's Next Top Model was a cultural phenomenon.
So the winner of this challenge,
spawning catchphrases and memes year after year.
Can you smize without going like this?
The show is the brainchild of showrunner Ken Mock and supermodel Tyra Banks.
Hey, it's our judge. Wherever you are, Mariah, don't hate.
The judging panel frequently had reoccurring judges, including Janice Dickinson, who her claim to fame is that she is the quote unquote first supermodel. And she was a really sort of brassy force on the panel.
You know why I coined the term supermodel?
Why?
Because I can.
Janice Dickinson, how could I forget? Janice Dickinson.
I'm detecting a little bit of attitude from you.
Zip it. Zip it. You're dead in my book. I think Next America's Top Model is not a plus size model. I'm sorry.
I wasn't cruel.
You don't think so?
I don't think I was cruel at all. 100%. I was correct.
So you stand by everything you said?
I do. If I hurt anyone's feelings, and even the viewers' feelings for watching something like this take place, then I apologize for that. Because I'm not in the business to hurt anyone or make enemies or make people feel bad. That's not who I am as a person.
We look back at America's Next Top Model, and it's easy to say, oh, it was problematic, it's not woke. In 2003, we did not have the word woke. We didn't really have that language. And so we weren't able to sort of pinpoint the problems and hear it in the series in the way that we are now.
In a statement to Impact, Ken Mock, in part, told us, quote, when Tyra and I created America's Next Top Model in 2001, we wanted to use the series as a tool for positive change. Tyra and I had one goal in mind, to change the definition of beauty. Back then, the fashion industry lacked any sort of real diversity.
How are you? I am great now that you're
Tyra talked about the recent backlash in 2020 on Tamron Hall.
I was trying to push boundaries, but was also torn to like try to make sure that these girls could work, you know? So it was a balance. It was like, oh, break beauty barriers, but yeah, I can break them all I want on the show. They'll graduate from the show and they won't work. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a regret. I think it was just wrong. So maybe even stronger than regret.
Winning America's Next Top Model was sold as a golden ticket into the fashion industry, into the modeling world. That didn't always pan out.
It's a reality show. Hello.
It was never
Did I
about-
say anything of meaning on this show here today, this interview? It's a reality show.
Really? So that's the bottom line. It was not about making the next top model.
No, it's a reality show, and they had to come up with snappy episodics to fill in the time.
Our thanks to Janae. You can watch more of Model Behavior on Impact by Nightline, now streaming on.
All right, y'all. So there we have it. You know, you heard a lot of what the reports were, what what people were saying they thought the show was going to be. They thought the show was about. And at the very end there, we just, heard the gavel slam down. And Janice Dickinson, and that was her speaking at the end, basically said, like, yo, honestly, it was a reality show. It was a reality TV show. I think that because it was tied into modeling, which is a very predominant career that a lot of young women want to go into, right? Like, or people tell you that you can go into, or they say that you got the look, you got the size, you got this, whatever. Or you just inspired to do it because you see, because we have representation like Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbell and Iman, right? It was giving young girls, especially young Black girls, the visuals that this could be something you could do. It's not something that you're not capable of doing. It's going to be hard. You're going to probably have a lot of competition because, like they said, there's typically just one picked. You know what I mean? So it did seem like with that show, Tyra was trying, I think, her best to change that narrative and change that outcome. But TV is always going to be TV. And what sells is always going to be what sells. And sometimes that gets infiltrated into, what your vision and what you desire to do or bring to the forefront is. You still sometimes have to fall under these type of stipulations and rules and regulations. So we did hear a little bit about that. So now, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and put up this second video. Okay, my bad. Start playing already. Yeah, so let me go ahead and get this one set up on the screen for y'all so y'all can hear this, because this is actually more conversation from the actual girls and contestants that were there that are speaking about their personal experiences and a lot of things that happened to them as the group on this show, this reality TV show, like how they were being treated and handled, and how basically they were sold a dream or sold a lie that never came to fruition. But we got to take the good with the bad. We got to look at the glass as half full and not half empty. So a lot of them did go on to do a lot of great things. It might not have been within, the modeling industry, but I have seen a lot of them, mostly the main ones that I've seen, they do a lot of acting and stuff now, and they're on some really great shows, and they hold, like that lead role on those shows, or it is their show, and they've landed on their feet and they've come out to be pretty successful. And then we have some that just, they just went back home and they just decided to live a regular life, get married, have kids, but still be happy, with that sector of their life, but still have, regrets that the things within the show and the modeling industry, I guess, didn't go the way that it was promised to go, based off of how they advertised that said show, which we heard Janice Dickinson say it's a reality TV show. So what do you expect? It's for entertainment purposes by any means necessary. And when we say any means necessary, we mean any means necessary. And y'all will hear a little bit of that from listening to the testimonies from some of these previous contestants on different cycles of the show. So let's go ahead and get into that audio. We'll listen to that together, and I'll meet y'all in the chat per usual.
Competition, it was psychological warfare.
The show becomes your whole life. You really forget that the rest of the world exists. Like, I remember we heard fireworks one day and we were like, are we being attacked? Because we didn't know it was the 4th of July. Because they are blacking out the vans that you're in. They're keeping you in windowless rooms. You don't know what time it is. You don't know what day it is. There were people sleeping outside our doors to make sure we couldn't leave our suites. An hour blindfolded on a bus with 30 other girls.
Do you know what this all reminds me of? The Stanford prison experiment.
If anyone was awake, the lights were on. So they wouldn't turn the lights off. All our movements were controlled. You know, you would ask to go to the bathroom and be told no.
When the cameras are not rolling, you can't talk. And this could go from minutes to hours.
From Cycle 9 hopeful Sarah Hartshorne to Cycle 17's Angelea Preston, ET is getting insight on all the bombshell claims from E's new documentary, Dirty Rotten Scandals.
If a girl broke that rule enough, they would start to punish all of us by taking away our iPods or taking away our books.
Them withholding food from us, that was like the biggest thing for me, because when you're hangry, you have an attitude, there's that increased drama, which is what they want, drama, right?
How long are we talking?
Hours.
I didn't realize that, I guess there's a really infamous moment where Bree, a contestant, lost her mind because someone stole her granola bars.
Why is my cereal bar box already open?
Which a lot of people didn't know that she was given $37 a day and had to pay for those granola bars herself, right? And so that shed some light on that incident. What a lot of people didn't know on top of that layer is that those granola bars were accidentally stolen by a PA who was stealing them for Lisa, who had been eliminated and was in a hotel and had run out of money for food. Because they stopped giving us the $37 after we were eliminated, but they kept us in a hotel and we still had to pay for our own food. So I was kept in a hotel after I was eliminated for two weeks. I didn't have the key to that hotel room. I didn't know where that hotel was.
America's Next Top Model really tortured these girls. It really tore their ego and identity.
OG Judge Janice Dickinson speaks out for the first time in the doc. Among the claims, the ladies were given $37 a day to buy their own food, and they allege if you didn't win, you weren't paid anything. Eliminations could sometimes take up to 18 hours to film, and some contestants accuse producers of exploiting their deepest, darkest secrets.
I really can't stress how hard they pressured us to divulge all of our childhood trauma. They had your family history, they had your financial statements, they had your medical records. They really interviewed you and went over just every detail of your life. And so there was so much incentive. Like, you really felt like if you had the right trauma, they would let you be on the show. Once they realized that I was insecure about my body multiple times a day, they're asking, like, do you think you look fat in that outfit? Do you think your makeover makes you look fat? Do you think it makes you look like a man? Do you feel bad about yourself? Do you feel bad about yourself when you stand next to the girls who are so much thinner than you?
And when filming wrapped, America's Top Model was thought to receive a $100,000 prize. But
the winner gets $100,000 worth of work promised to them. So they still have to do that work. And it's also divided up through, I can't remember how many payments, both of which are taxed separately. So it does come out to about $60,000 worth of work spread out over 1 year. When you think about, $100,000, check written, done, that's it.
It turns out that after shooting was wrapped, a production team and the network learned information from Angelea that disqualifies her from the competition.
One of the most dramatic finale moments in Top Model history, in an ending viewers never saw, Angelea was named winner of her All-Star cycle, only to have her title stripped in a gut-wrenching twist.
What does that feel like to finally get your side of the story out?
Vindication, #justice for Angelea. I'm not crazy. I'm not lying. like this really happened. I won. They took it from me. They acted like I committed first-degree murder. Like I was just this terrible person. I was shunned. And for a while I felt terrible. That was probably top 3 moments of like the worst moments that I've ever experienced. Like just imagine someone handing you all this, $100,000, you're going to be in Vogue. Your life is going to change. You're going to have an extra correspondence position. You're one of us now. That's what Nigel told me when I won. You're one of us now. And I'm like, God, yeah, I'm one of you guys now for like 2 seconds.
You filmed your winning scene. You felt like you were the winner.
Oh, I was the winner. I almost ran off stage. Like production and Ken Mock had to say, Angelea, stay on stage, because I was just so excited. I was just like, oh my God, what? I'm gonna be able to like finally do like get my mom like everything that she wanted for taking care of me. I get to like pay her back and actually, have a career.
A few months later, Angelea was disqualified for her previous work as an escort, and the finale was reshot with fellow top 3 contestant Lisa D'Amato named the winner.
Lisa.
They were calling me, but I didn't answer the phone because I knew what the phone calls were for. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So they ended up just filming with Lisa and Allison. But I was just like, how dare you? How dare you ask me or expect me to come and refilm, and the wounds are still raw. I'm still so gutted that you guys have did this to me.
Yeah.
And now I have to stand here and watch you guys. America's Next Top Model All-Star winner, Lisa D'Amato. Excuse me?
You were given, if this is correct, $300 in, quote, pity money.
I will never forget that day. It almost felt like that the rain started as soon as I started crying because I was so miserable. And I was just like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I took the money now, but I'm not going to pass up no money. But they just treated me like a charity case, and I took the money, and then it was just pouring, raining. And then I went back to my friend's basement apartment in Brooklyn and just cried, sobbed like a baby for like 2 days because I was like, what do I do now?
What's more, the 38-year-old says she was trafficked and claims a casting director knew about her past before shooting started.
She flat out asked me, and I'm just going to put it eloquently, but she flat out asked me, have I ever sold my body? And I thought right then and there, I was like, okay, someone knows. Someone knows. So of course I denied it because I didn't want to lose my opportunity to make my life better. Like I was at rock bottom. This was an opportunity. Even if I didn't win, being on 2 cycles, I knew that I could possibly do something with this, something good and have, a career. And then before we started filming, the casting director came into the hotel room and she was like, I want you to take this opportunity and I want you to run with it. I know what happened to you, but basically this will be our little secret. I made my choices, yes, and I'm not blaming anybody for the choices I made because I take accountability for my actions. But I think that people also need to understand the difference between being trafficked and sex work, because what happened to me was being trafficked. Okay, that full stop. I was taken advantage of. I was young enough to be naive, old enough to know better, but young enough to just be like, just down and desperate.
We reached out to that casting director along with Tyra and executive producer Ken Mock about this and other allegations from the doc and have not heard back.
Take us back to the beginning. How did you land on Top Model?
I applied and they kept saying no. So I was like, like there's got to be something to this. Like, why do they keep saying no? Like, I know I have the goods and I have what it takes. And I actually went down to New York City to go meet the casting director because I heard she was going to be down there, slept in the Port Authority. This is how bad I wanted to be on the show, okay? Slept in the Port Authority, didn't have anywhere to sleep, went back to Buffalo. And I think that me sleeping in the Port Authority caught their attention, was like, oh my God, like, holy crap, she really wants this. My flappers were gassing.
Your
Okay,
flappers were
I was clutching my pearls. I was like,
Right.
why did I go on the show again?
Did you ever consider or try to take any legal action?
I did. Yes, I sued Tyra 2015 or 2014, I think. I sued her, the network. It was a bunch of people because I wanted my money. So, and I wanted people to know I was the winner. And I'm like, oh, they're not going to get away with this. Like, this is a travesty. And then like that went into arbitration for a few years. And I think like the attorney kind of initially, like we were all full steam ahead. Like, yeah, we could probably get this. We can get this. It got tossed out. Didn't get nothing.
Buffalo Hood 716. Holla, holla.
Maybe Tyra, maybe when they came to her, maybe she could have fought for me and been like, you know, I really want this girl to win. I understand what you guys are saying. Maybe she could have fought. I think that's well within her right. And they would have listened to her because it is her show. Do I think she did fight? No. I think that when they told her or when it was decided that they were taking it from me, I think she was like, okay.
Talk to me about your financial picture after you left filming.
No. What? Broke. I was broke. Okay. Still broke. You know, the only thing that they gave me, I won one of the challenges. I won a trip back to Greece for Cycle 17. They told me that I can convert that to money.
Okay.
So they gave me $10,000. And Lord knows I could be good with money, so I made it stretch. But I was just in basically the same position, broke as hell, broken money and broken spirit, you know. Right. So just broke all over.
When they took away your title, and it was somewhat of at least a professional rock bottom, how did you overcome that?
Oh, geez. Well, first of all, I thought I was gonna be blacklisted. Well, let's just back up because after they told me that they weren't airing me as the winner, I thought, oh shoot, I'm definitely blacklisted now because the entertainment industry is so small. So, you know, the career that I could have possibly had, forget about it, because no one's going to want to work with me because they're going to hear the whispers. Well, why did she get this taken away from her? And, you know, we can't touch her. The funny thing is that during that time, production was scared that I was going to go to the media and tell the ending. Okay. So the executive was like, well, the next season we have next model management and we'll help you get a contract. Just please don't tell. And obviously I didn't say anything and no one helped me.
Today, Sarah and Angelea are both moms.
If they would have kept the title the same, I wouldn't have my son. So all that, I would go through it 100 times more.
Sarah wrote a book inspired by her experience. Angelea is a news producer.
Probably the biggest story that I've covered so far was the mass shooting that happened in Buffalo in 2022, which would be 4 years in May. And I was working in radio at the time. So I was an on-air host and a reporter for the NPR affiliate in Buffalo. Everybody, CNN, BBC, and it's just everybody was there, and just the people, like our community is still affected by this today. You know, I just, it's very humbling because I get to I'm still in contact with some of the family members who lost family members that day.
You're an award-winning journalist.
Yes.
How does that award feel compared to the one that you had for a fleeting moment?
Gratifying, because no one can take that away from me.
What would your message to Tyra be today?
Girl, look at her. Look at me, okay? Award-winning journalist, okay? Like, I think my biggest thing would be to, girl, you gotta.
All right, y'all. So just up to that part, but I wanted to listen, let y'all listen so y'all can hear exactly directly from the girls, their experience and the things that they were saying without saying too much. But once they got to this part, when I heard her say, like, she is a world-winning journalist, right? These people have gone on to do great things. They have written books. They're in shows of their own. Like, they have gone on to do something. And so a lot of them, you'll see at the very end, it's like, even though they're disappointed and it was a traumatic situation that they went through, they still do give props and thanks, a bit to Tyra and that show and that experience, because it may have propelled them to do some things in their life, that maybe they would have never been on the path to do if it wasn't for them and that experience on that show. And so, we always have to look at things when it comes to that. The way I try to look at things is that, most of the time, if you pay attention, it's always God's plan. Like, God has a plan, and it's my personal spiritual beliefs, and I don't mean to put them on anybody else, but y'all know this is how I feel and how I talk and I think, because this is my personal spiritual beliefs. But I do always think that God has a plan for us in our life, each and every one of us, right? And sometimes we have to go on a long journey to get to that plan, you know what I mean? To get to that position that he has for us, or that place that he wants us to be in. And sometimes that comes with the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's not always just going to be a stroll, you know what I mean? Or a skip and a hop down a happy path all the time. Sometimes you're going to have to go through struggles. Sometimes you're going to have to, experience things that really is not fair for you to experience, or you should have never experienced. But we never know what God's plan is, because there's always that light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to dark times and dark moments. Like, if you live through it, if you survive through it and you get to the other side, there's always the light that's on the other side. And you're always going to land on your feet and be okay, if that is said God's plan or the universe plan for you. However it is y'all choose fit to, see it in your respectful religious or spiritual belief. But that's what I choose to believe. And I have seen it and witnessed it with my own two eyes in my own life multiple times, and with others, and things that I just see, watching from, the rear view, basically, or watching from the outside looking in, if you want to say. That's how we keep hope alive and we stay positive, because, what the enemy may have meant for your bad, God can turn it around for your good. And so that's what I choose to believe. And I hear her saying, like, even though all of those things happen, and those experiences were something that was in her life at that time, look where she is now. Look where God has brought her to now. So she's all right. She's doing okay. And this may have just meant exactly what God called for her to do. Maybe God didn't call for her to be a top model and be on the runway, and being in Paris and doing all these things. Maybe God called for her to be a journalist, a writer, a author. We never know, right? We're just walking along this journey and trusting and sticking to faith and trying to figure it out as we go. Anyway, let's keep going. We're almost done. We're right here at the tail end of this commentary, and then we'll be moving into Monique's message around the Ozempic and these weight loss medications and the dangers and the risks, and also the lessons that we need to learn when it comes to self-love and understanding that we are enough. We don't have to change or mold ourselves to fit anybody else's vision of what they think we should be. We should just walk through this life being who we are and what we are, and be proud enough and see that that is enough. But anyway, we'll get into that in just a moment. Let's keep going with the rest of this.
Wrong. You know what I mean? Like you from Inglewood, I always thought that we had like a shared commonality, because she grew up in an urban area. I did. She was tall and skinny. I'm tall and skinny. We both got teased for it, just two urban girls trying to make a path and a way for themselves. And, my path obviously deviated from that. But I would just, say to her, like, girl, you got it wrong. Because look at me. I'm out here. You got it wrong.
What is your message to Tyra?
My message to Tyra is thank you so much Pay me.
Okay. So, if you have watched the documentary, if you're watching some of these, interviews that are coming out with a lot of the girls or whatnot, they all stand and sit in different places and spaces. Like I said, we got two different ones. One's like, yo, I'm doing really well. I landed on my feet. Look at me now, And the other one is like, no, I want to be I want to be reimbursed for my pain and suffering. I want my money that was, promised to me. So you can't say that either person is wrong for either way. They come out feeling about an experience that they went through, especially when false promises were made or things that they were supposed to get they never received. People can't speak up about that and feel a type of way about that, however they see fit, So yeah, it was honestly, which I didn't know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. There was 24 cycles of this show. And as we find it out now, it wasn't just a competition. It was a rubric for how to be worthy of adoration. It taught the whole generation of millennials, especially young Black girls, that beauty had conditions. It was the ugly truth that you could be actually harassed on set, like Kaneen Hill, and be told to deal with it, because that's just the industry. It was the ugly of pressure to change your body, to close your tooth gap, just to fit in a narrow mold. The show mirrored a fashion world that was, in many ways, and still is, y'all don't like when I say this, but almost like a white supremacist mindset and body exclusive. So the scapegoat of the system. The bad is that while we're all dragging Tyra Banks right now, or holding her to the fire for this, she is also a convenient scapegoat. Yes, she was the face of the show. She was the top model that we all knew. She admits now that she should have said stop many more times instead of just giving tough love. But the bad part is that the fashion industry itself really hasn't changed as much as we think. Even in 2026, there is still size inclusivity on the runways. Is still less than 1%. And, as much as people want to get angry and blame Tyra so we can feel comfortable, this is the same system that continues to use young women's bodies for profit. And it's not happening just in the modeling industry, but it happens in many industries. So what is the good? The trailblazers and the pivots. Let's talk about it. We do have to talk about the good because there's balance in everything. Before America's Next Top Model, you did not see many women of color, plus size models, or trans women like Isis King on Prime TV being called beautiful. That was radical. And the best part, the contestants took that fire and they built their own lives and industries. Look at Winnie Harlow, who became a global icon on her own terms, who suffers from vitiligo. Look at Yaya DaCosta and Leo Tipton, who became incredible actresses. Look at the women like Victoria from Cycle 19, who became a PhD, or Farunda from Cycle 6, and Katarzna from Cycle 10, who became lawyers. They used the psychological warfare as fuel to find their true purpose. They proved that you can walk through the fire and come out not just a model, but a doctor, a lawyer, a mother, or a leader. And so when we like to leave positivity, the truth of America's Next Top Model is that it was a mirror. It showed us the best and the absolute worst of us. But as we move forward in 2026, we take the good, the diversity, the resilience, and we leave the ugly behind. And like I said before, you don't need a judge's panel to tell you that you're next. You are already it. The industry might have tried to break these women, but look at them now. They are still thriving, and so will you. Don't let anyone's tough love dim your light. You are the frequency, you are the vibration, and you are more than enough. So we all have to learn how to love ourselves, love each other, and just keep it pushing that way. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and take a quick song break, y'all. After this song break, we'll be right back and we'll get into our next topic for the live. We're going to hear a little bit from Monique, and she will be talking about Ozempic and other medications such as those for weight loss journeys for individuals that they have been taking, and just the dangers and the risks that can come with taking these medications, not necessarily in current time, but sometimes over a period of time, a toll on your body and your health. So you may look good on the outside, but what is really happening to you on the inside? We'll get into that in just a moment after this song break. We'll be right back.
Global reach, but local heart. If you're paying for the pain, you're playing a part. Tighten up. International crimes on a fiber optic line, doxing for $1. Get it crossing every line. They talk about the gross stuff. I say the youth, but they're hiding in the comments. They don't care about the truth. They want the nasty word. They want the blood in the water, but that's somebody's son and that's somebody's daughter. I report on the leaders. I see the same games, different faces, different places, but the motive's the same. Are you dancing with the devil for you? What you do to them is coming back to you. Pick a side, integrity. Don't let the money turn your heart into a ghost. Who are you really when you hit that post? You see them all line allegedly getting a check to put a digital noose around a stranger's neck. Bullying is business, doxing is a trade. Look at the wreckage and the mess that you made. We meeting as strangers, connecting the dots, but the soul of the people is beginning to rot. Tighten up the circle, tighten up the globe. Truth is the only thing we need to uphold. The world is watching. Are you dancing with the devil for you? What you do to them is coming back to you. Pick a side. Integrity, integrity. Integrity, integrity. Hiding up.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna get to this next video. It's gonna be another audio only, and we're gonna hear a little bit from Monique, and she's going to be talking about and giving like just some hope and some encouragement and some strong, powerful words, excuse me, to people, because as we know, when it comes to Monique as well, she's been very vocal and open, about her weight loss journey. And we've seen, if you watch, her content or her social media platform, we've seen that, she's been doing a lot of exercises and stuff like that. Things maybe more so on the natural side of things. And it's not to judge anybody if they do choose to go the medication route, but we do want to make sure that we are sending, messages of positivity to one another. So, we're not just out here making decisions that's really going to hurt us in the long run. Also, we can feel comfortable in the current, or in the society's eyes, because that's not really important. Where does that really get you? You know, you allow society to tell you what to do with your body, how you should look, how you should dress, what size you should be. And then where does society go after you do those things and you become sick? They're not there for you anymore. They're not paying for your medical bills. You know, are they even praying for you and your well-being? So we cannot allow society to control our decisions and stuff as far as the choices that we make when it comes to our body image or anything of that nature. What we really need to do is just strengthen our self-love, right? And our self-confidence within ourselves, despite any of the things that, you know, it may not even be just necessarily what we feel, but what society may try to make us feel about how we look and how we show up in this world. God created us all uniquely, right? Each and every individual. And again, yes, that's my personal spiritual beliefs in God. So that's why I refer to it. And I believe that to be true. And so we should not mess up God's canvases. You know what I mean? Like, we're meant to be who we're meant to be and look the way we're meant to look. Now, health, I understand health. We can get healthy. We can be the best versions of ourselves. But to entirely like change yourself and become almost another person just because society tells you that that's what they feel you should do, we got to be more careful with how we do that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this audio here from Monique. You know, she's going to speak to us sweet babies. And let's hear her message that she has to bring. I thought it was very positive and beneficial to hear. So let's go ahead and get into that, and I'll be right back.
Subscribe. Thank you.
Hey, my sweet babies. I wanted to come on here really quick to just tell y'all this. Because right now, babies, they are pushing so much to us in reference to, if you take this shot, you could lose 30 pounds. If you take this pill, you could lose this. But what is the long-term effects? What will it do to your body, your mind? What will it do to us 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And yes, you may look like $1 million on the outside, and you may get down to that size 2 or that size 4 or that size 8 or whatever that thing is. But I would ask you to research what you're putting in your body. Research what you're putting in your body. They got us caught up in trends. And well, if this big star did it and this big celebrity did it, well, I'm definitely going to do it. This is what I will say, and this is just my humble opinion. They're taking away our willpower. They're taking away our fight. They're taking away our ability to say, I believe in myself. I'm going to trust the process. Because if you can just put the shit in a microwave, if you can put it in a microwave, and what happens when you put it in a microwave? It loses all nutritional value. So, I love us for real, y'all. I love my people for real. I don't love y'all just because the words sound good. And I know some of y'all have not always agreed with me. And even the ones that don't agree with me, I love us. And I'm asking y'all to love yourself enough not to be tricked. Not to be tricked. Ooh, that thing had me today. Ooh. Because we're so easily tricked. Especially us. They could sell us shit on toilet paper, and if the right person selling it, we'll say that's some good shit on that toilet paper. So please don't get caught up in the names, the fame, the money, the quote unquote power, and I'm not judging nobody's decision because it is yours. However, I'm talking to the babies out there that is questioning things. Love you enough to trust your process. Love you enough to shut your damn mouth. Love you enough that after you had that one piece, you don't need another. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. The white boy some banana pudding in here yesterday, baby. And I looked at him and said, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? But it wasn't for me. Okay, so that's why he did it. And I had to walk away from it. Now, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I took a little taste, a half of a teaspoon. Because I had to get that thing up on me. But I believe in Monique. And I'm gonna honor my prayers. And my prayers was give me a second chance at motherhood, at being a wife, with my family, and I was granted that. So you think I'm gonna mess it up? So I'm just talking to my babies that wanna hear it. For the ones that don't, get out of here. I don't have no gossip for you. I don't have nobody else's business for you. That ain't what I do. But I'm telling y'all about my business. This Monique's movement is working. So we gotta get ready to tape another one, but I just wanted to come in here and share that with y'all. And I had to stall a little bit because he whipped my behind. So I love y'all, my babies. I love y'all, I love y'all, I love y'all. To my Urua community over there in Zimbabwe, Africa, keep going, babies. Keep going. I appreciate people that think of things other than themselves. And it is a brother and sister that left America and went over to Africa and opened up a school and said, we're going to pour into our people. How beautiful. Can we talk about like that? When people ask me, what do you think? I don't think nothing about people's other business because it ain't mine. I don't have enough energy or time to get to focus on other people's. What you say, baby? Say it again. Okay, because he ain't gonna cuss in front of me. That's not what he do. That's not what my baby do. He say, what you eat don't make me. And then he stop. Y'all know how I go. What you eat don't make me. And what I eat don't make you. So there we go, my babies. I love all of y'all. I love y'all for real. Please have an awesome, amazing day. And do yourself a favor. Be good to you. Yes. Because you all you got. I love us, babies.
All right, y'all. So I just want y'all to listen to a little bit of that, from Monique. So what did y'all think about that? What she had to say? She always has been and standing up to speak against the grain. And, this is why she gets a lot of, pushback and hard time and stuff. But I absolutely agree with what she said. And like I said, once we came to this portion of the live, that I will share a story time. And so me and my mom, like, we are very, transparent. And so here's the story time. So for my mother, and she's been very vocal on some of these things as well. So I'm not, putting her out there. She talk about it herself. My mom does have diabetes, right? And so specifically Ozempic, but other medications such as Ozempic were initially supposed to be prescribed to individuals who have diabetes and even more severely diabetes and obesity at the same time, right? And so with these medications, it helps the individuals that are suffering from obesity to drop the necessary weight that they need to drop so it can stabilize their blood sugar and their blood pressure and things of that nature, right? So that's initially what those medications were prescribed for. Now, when you go into these doctors' offices and medical facilities, and my mother has never been obese. And that's not to say anything against anybody who may be obese or suffering from obesity, but I'm just saying she's never been that. but she did have diabetes. But because you can also be prescribed that medication if you have a diabetic diagnosis, she was for a short period of time prescribed that medication and did take it for a short period of time. After taking said medicine for a short period of time, there were more health conditions that she started to accumulate when it comes to, like I read to y'all earlier, the gastrointestinal system. And so she is suffering with some issues now with gastrointestinal issues because of probably not just that medication, but a lot of these medications that they push and try to put people on. And as we know, if y'all have not seen, there is a class action suit that is open right now for individuals who have been taking Ozempic and have had, side effects, especially when it comes to gastrointestinal issues. And so that is our little story time. This is something I'm telling you that it is true. These medications that they give you, not just these Ozempic, these weight loss medications and stuff, or medications that can aid you to lose weight. There's many medications they put people on that do lead to some severe side effects that people are now struggling and dealing with, and leading them into secondary and diagnosis and things of that nature. So this is a real thing. It is dangerous for some people. Now, it doesn't happen to everybody. Some people are never affected, but some people are. My mom has been affected by that medication. So when we speak about that, we speak about it from a real place, from a transparent place, that yes, these medications can lead to other health conditions and ailments as side effects. But when you watch these commercials and things of that nature now, I mean, they spill it all out to you, all of the side effects that can possibly happen if you take this medication. And for me, that shies me away from any of it. Now, I don't have to, and I don't get prescribed medication because I don't have health conditions like that. But anybody who does, especially like with my mom, we watch these things together, and I tell her to pay attention to this, because when you go to these doctors' offices, this is what they'll do. They like to push medication. Instead of healing you, they want to treat you over a period of time, majorly the rest of your life. And so you get on these medications that they have you taking for the rest of your life, and they make things worse for you. Now, me being someone who has worked in a medical field, just imagine, I talk about these things, I speak like this, I can't work for these people, right? Because I'm contradicting the very thing that they're pushing to make money and put money in their pocket. But the integrity in me is like, I can't just sit here and not say anything. I can't just sit here and not be realistic and truthful about how this game is being played and these industries move and operate. So a lot of people don't like me. I'm a rebel. I'm always in trouble, but I got to keep it real honest about these things, especially when it comes to keeping my mom's well-being and safety intact. I will speak up. I will fight back. I will shut stuff down, because, we have to make sure we're doing this for ourselves and our loved ones, because if we don't, they'll take right on advantage. And most of that advantage is going to lead to what for them? More money in the pocket, right? That's what a lot of things always lead to. It's always about money in the pocket, money in the pocket, money in the pocket. And they will put your life and your well-being at risk just so they can have more additional money in their own pocket. And that is the greed and the selfishness, and not just the medical industry, but in a lot of these industries out here, whether it's the modeling industry, the music industry, the actor or movie industry, the medical, like I said, all of the industries, it always boils down to money, 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 money. And it's typically the ones that are running the show, they want the most money in their pocket. And they may trickle you down a little something, something, but they're keeping the biggest cut of the bread. So let's be very clear about that. But I think most people know that by this time, even in the political, political government. Let me get back to my roots, y'all. Politics, government, same thing. Money, money, money. It's always about the money. At what cost? Don't let your life and your health and your safety be at the cost of any dollars in anybody else's pocket, because it's not worth it. You only get one life. Money gonna keep getting printed. Money gonna keep, being created. Different forms of currencies are gonna keep getting created. But once your one little life is gone and you no longer have it, there's no way to get that back. But these people can go back and spin the block if they want to and get some more money. Don't let your life be put on the line for lacing the pockets of other people with money. That's what I wanted to say about that. And so to wrap up Monique's message, she did get emotional in that video, because she addressed what she calls her babies. And we know she calls people her babies. The younger generation, this is Big Mama, respectfully, Monique looks great. She looks young. And I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about maturity. I'm talking about reaching down to the young ones and sharing pertinent messages to them that they may not be getting. That's what I mean when I say Big Mama. So I don't mean no disrespect by that. But the younger generation who are watching all of these celebrities, they suddenly shrinking down in size. She's telling us that these medications are taking away even our own willpower. And her truth is, when you take the quick fix, you really lose the opportunity to prove to yourself that you can fight. Now, if you do want to drop a few pounds, if you do want to lose some weight, and I know a lot of people have been through the process of all of these, other schemes and scams, right? Like these diet programs and these nutritional things that they say is supposed to help you lose weight and all of these things. And even some people do take time out to go to the gym and exercise. And it's just not working. It's just not happening. And now they found the magic beans, y'all. They found the magic beans in these medications that are really dangerous for your health and your system. And I know how hard it can be. I do. But what I really would want to challenge people to do is look in the mirror and see, like, you are beautiful. Like, I understand if you want to make a personal choice for yourself, but never allow society or other people to push you into choices. If you feel confident in how you look and you know that you're enough and you're a great person and you're a beautiful person and you're a loving person and all of those things, don't allow anybody to force you to change, whether it's your physicality on your outside or how you move and you operate and you love on people on the inside. Don't allow nobody to change that for you. You remain true to who you are. We have to love ourselves enough so we're not being tricked by these schemes and scams. And so, I thought that was a really powerful statement for her to make. And I hope that we take from that. But yeah, that's the thing. You may look like $1 million on the outside, but it doesn't mean anything if you haven't done any of the internal work to believe in your own strength and making sure your internal organs is okay. So you got to be healthy on the inside physically, and you got to be healthy on the inside spiritually. So, we're going to take a quick song break. Like I said, what happens when it comes to all these industries and why they're able to get away with these things and they really just don't give a crap. It's all for the chase and the love of money. Money. It all boils down to money all the time, each and every time. So let's take this quick song break here, y'all. I am going to play my song Money. And then after that, we will hear a final word from Terrence Howard, which is also uplifting and positive. And then I'll give my wrap-up statement, and we'll get up out of here, out of this live, y'all. But let's go ahead and get into this song, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm chasing the check, but the weight of the world is a chain on my neck. Money, 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 money. Yeah, check the clock, check the pace, check the greed. Everybody's sprinting just to get what they need. They don't care about the person, they don't care about the heart. Just a number on a ledger trying to tear the soul apart. Getting paid by the hour, yeah, they stacking up the stress. While the people at the bottom try to clean up the mess. It's a cycle, it's a system, it's a cold-blooded race. They'll look you in the eye while they try to take your space. For love of money, keep the facts straight. Everybody's acting for the digital stage, selling out their spirit for a click on the page. Clickbait the drama, monetize the fake. How much of your integrity are you willing to stake? They're getting paid to hollow out everything we seek. The bank account is heavy, but the character is weak. Check the status symbol, check the bottom line. The pressure of the climb's gonna drive us out our mind. Chasing down the bonus isn't worth the cost of time. Got to have it, I'd rather have the truth. Stop trading all our wisdom in the fire of our youth. Don't be a ghost for a paycheck. Stay real for the people. Money, 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 money. Don't be a ghost for a paycheck. Stay real, it's gonna be a ball.
All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into this final video for the live. I wanted y'all to listen to this message from Terrence Howard. And y'all know Terrence Howard, he has made a shift when it comes to, a lot of things I think he probably has seen and experienced in the industry. And now he's moving in a different direction, and I love it. I love every moment of it. So he gave a very powerful message. And I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of that for y'all. We'll talk about it. And then after that, we'll go ahead and end with some final thoughts and end the live. I hope y'all are enjoying the conversation. Thank you so much for joining me on the live and staying with me, rocking with me to the end. I really appreciate the support. If y'all hit the like button or subscribe or share the channel, I appreciate all of those things as well. We're rebuilding and starting back over now, but that's what you got to do in life sometime. You just keep laying down that concrete and you'll get to where you need to be. But anyway, let's go ahead and listen to this message from Terrence Howard, and we will be right back.
Please subscribe. Thank you.
Happy February 17th and Happy New Year to everyone in Asia. I want to ask you all a question. Who is the most important person in your life? Is it your mother, your father, your children, your spouse? Is it God? Well, let's put this into perspective. If you stopped living today, stopped conceiving any ideas, stopped perceiving any realities, all these other things would disappear. You are the most important person in your life. Therefore, self-love, self-appreciation, self-respect, self-dignity, self-kindness, these are the most important things that we all need to cultivate. Because once we are whole, then we can give to the Creator everything that we're supposed to give to the Creator. We can give to family everything we're supposed to give to family. And we can be the strong person that everyone needs. The selfish gene is real. Self-preservation is the first rule of nature, and the willful neglect of self is an unforgivable sin. Love you, become strong. Look in the mirror and see that you are made in God's image, and see not just you, but see the Creator. And make sure that when the Creator looks into the mirror, the Creator sees the reflection of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
All right, y'all. So that was Terrence Howard's message. And I thought that was a beautiful, powerful message, right? To give to us as a people, like for all of us. If we can remember those basic things, it can make things so much easier. But we have now reached the end of the live. We have covered a lot of ground today, okay? We looked into the ugly, the psychological warfare that a lot of the contestants and the girls of the America's Next Top Model show went through, the cult-like isolation that they said they were put under, and the way these industries tried to break young women just to sell a commercial or a great show plot. We looked at the bad, the modeling agencies that treat human beings like disposable products and keep them trapped in a cycle of debt. And let's be honest, for many of us, life feels a lot like that right now. Maybe you feel like you're in a debt trap of your own. Maybe you feel like the world is constantly moving the goalpost on what it means to be successful, beautiful, or enough. But here is the truth, and it's going to blow your mind. If you really let it sink in, the system only works if you agree to be broken. When Tyra Banks was hard on those girls because she was hurt by Naomi or the other parts of the industry, she was acting out of belief that the world is a place of scarcity, that there isn't enough room for all of us to shine. When the industry pushes a quick fix medication on you, they are betting on the idea that you hate yourself enough to pay for a shortcut. But we listened to what Monique was saying. We listened to what Terrence Howard was saying. They are telling us the most radical, mind-blowing thing you can do is to stop participating in your own destruction. The hardships that we are all going through, whether it's job searches, financial stresses, health battles, those are the fire. But the fire doesn't have to consume you. It can forge you, like the contestants who walked away from America's Next Top Model and became doctors, lawyers, and world changers. You are not defined by the villain edit life might be trying to give you right now. You are a divine frequency. You are a masterpiece of geometry and spirit. You don't need a judge's panel to tell you that you've made the cut. You were called the moment you were born. So as we face this future that feels uncertain, remember this: you don't have to suffer to be worthy of a miracle. The cycle of hurt people hurting people stops the moment you decide to be a healed person, healing people. Take back your willpower. Take back your self-love. Unplug from the idea that you are a product to be sold, and realize you are a soul to be known. The world didn't give you your value. The world can't take it away. Keep your head high and keep your heart open. And most importantly, keep loving the skin you're in, because that skin is the armor of a survivor who is ready to thrive. I love you guys. I believe in us as a people, as a human race. And I know that we will one day get to a better side of things. We'll be able to see it the right way. And we'll be thriving and not just surviving. But that's all I got for this live, y'all. Thank you so much for joining. I will see y'all and talk to y'all on the next one. Thank you for all your support. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Per usual, I'm going to end us out with a bop. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Golden out. Bye.
We shall overcome. Through the fire and the rain, we still run. We shall overcome. They can't eclipse the light of the sun. Deep in my heart, I still believe we shall overcome someday. Right. Deep in my heart. overcome someday. Just a ticking clock and a dark sip pad. But someday feels like it's slipping away. 2020's fixed and we're back in the fray. Look, it's 2026 and the cycle is vicious. They're erasing the progress, making us suspicious. Rolling back the DII, cutting the light. Targeting the cities in the middle of the night. I see the ice ages moving through the Twin Cities. Another life lost, no mercy, no pity. They say merit-based, but we know the code. It's a heavy weight, it's a long dark road. They're taking King's name, but they're killing the dream. Dismantling the systems, or so it would seem. From the border to the block, the tension is rising, but the spirit of the people, man, is still enterprising. We reclaim the day, we reclaim the street. You can hear the revolution in the pulse of the beat. They want us divided, they want us in fear, but the voice of the warrior is perfectly clear. No queen and a G for the ones who oppress. We're standing for the truth, nothing more, nothing less. Whether it's the legal gaps or the climate in crisis, our resilience is the goal, and that's what the price is. We shall overcome. We won't back down. We shall overcome. We hold the ground. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We're still here, 2026, still fighting. Someday is now. A roof above, a shelter from the storm, a gentle hand to keep a spirit warm, a plate of food, a mind that's free to learn, a simple peace, a righteous way to earn. These are the needs, the bedrock and the base, the sacred ground of the whole human race. But the screen is screaming, selling something cheap, while the real world babies cry themselves to sleep. They celebrate the greed and plant a poison, a suffocating weed. We gotta reach our children, pull them from the glow, and show them a beauty that the media don't know. Check the vision, the mission of the television, spitting division, a mental prison. Got the youth chasing lights, addicted to the feed, ignoring the hunger, the fundamental need. They building paper idols on a digital stage, putting our future daughters in a virtual cage. Now we gotta break the cycle, gotta cut the cord. The real word is powerful, mighty given the sword. So we teach them about their history, teach them about their grace, teach them about the power, every single face. We are human, blood and bone and soul, with the right to be late, the right to be whole. This is our story, this is our sacred song. In the eyes of the Creator, where we all belong. We are human, worth more than they can price. Beyond the hateful whispers and the loaded ties. Oh, justice, a word of peace, a promise that the fight will never cease.
This ain't just a track, it's a call to action. For every mother, father, every single fraction of the community holding it down on the ground. Time to get loud, make a revolutionary sound. Look your child in the eye, tell them that they matter. Tell them their spirit's something to know like a shadow. Tell them knowledge is the weapon, love is the shield, and the truth is the harvest. We gonna grow in this field. Yeah.
Oh, yes we are.
Feed that to bed.
To the right place. Welcome to the rain. Golden Queen. H2.0. Let's get it. You're looking for a diamond, found a treasure in the rough. Tired of all the noise, cause you finally had enough. I'm here to build a movement on a mission for the nation. Dropping gems of knowledge, killing all the hesitation. We fighting for the truth, yeah, we fighting for what's right. Building unity and shining up a brand new light. It's a variety channel, but the vision's crystal clear. Pushing us all forward, conquering the doubt and fear.
Yo, welcome to the Queendom. H2.0 on your screen, with the content's real and smart and funny in between. This is more than just a stream, it's a platform for the change. Time to elevate the game and rearrange. So if you're ready for a vibe that you can feel and trust, joining in the movement is a definite must.
This ain't just another channel talking smack behind the screen. It's a spotlight for the creators building up of the scene. Spreading radical love, that's the message in the code. Helping everybody carry up a heavy load. From social justice issues to the laughter that we need. Planting seeds of progress, watch them grow from just a seed. This is authentic, this is raw, this is everything you saw. Welcome to the battle that is truly being fought.
Oh, so come with your respect and see the real effect. Cause I protect my own right here on the throne. Don't make me unleash the dragon. You've been warned.
Yeah. Don't make me unleash the dragon. You've been warned. Yeah. Don't make me unleash the dragon. You've been warned. Yeah. Yeah. Golden Queen H2.0. The movement starts now. Go ahead. Hit subscribe, ring that notification bell. You don't want to miss a thing. Welcome to the family.